What would you do if someone kidnapped your little sister to force you to abandon your country's independence? This is the unbelievable true story of how one African president turned his family's nightmare into a continental awakening that shook the world. Picture this: you're leading a nation, fighting for economic freedom, and then your worst fear becomes reality. Your 14-year-old sister vanishes without a trace. But here's the twist: this wasn't just any kidnapping. This was political warfare, and the stakes were higher than anyone imagined. Let me take you back to that fateful afternoon in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. The sun was blazing overhead as Aminata Traoré walked out of her middle school, completely unaware that her life was about to change forever. She was just a regular teenager, worried about her math exam the next day, planning to study with her big brother like always. "See you tomorrow, Fatima," she waved to her friend, clutching her textbook close to her chest. The walk home was supposed to take 15 minutes through the safest neighborhood in the city. She knew every street, every face, every corner. But Aminata never made it home that day. When 4:45 p.m. rolled around, their mother Mariam was pacing frantically. Aminata was always home by 4:30, always. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Something was terribly wrong. Meanwhile, President Ibrahim Traoré was in a high-level defense meeting when his phone buzzed. The moment he heard the panic in his mother's voice, everything else stopped mattering. "Aminata hasn't come home," she whispered through tears. "She's never late, Ibrahim. Never." That's when the real nightmare began. Within hours, Traoré's security team uncovered something chilling. Every single camera along Aminata's route had mysteriously malfunctioned at exactly 3:25 p.m. Not one or two cameras, every single one. The guards who were secretly protecting her? Found drugged and unconscious. "This is professional work," his security chief Mamadou reported, showing the blank footage on his tablet. The system was hacked in a coordinated attack. Someone planned this down to the minute. Traoré's blood ran cold. This wasn't a random kidnapping. This was a calculated strike against him personally. But he had no idea how deep this conspiracy really went. For 3 agonizing days, there was nothing. No ransom demands, no media leaks, no trace of a 14-year-old girl who had simply vanished into thin air. Then, on the 4th night, at 2:30 a.m., Traoré's private phone rang. "Hello, Ibrahim," came a cold, emotionless voice speaking in French. The president's entire body tensed. "Who is this?" he demanded. "That's not important. What matters is keeping your sister alive." The caller's demands were crystal clear: reverse the gold mine nationalization, cancel the uranium deal with China, stop challenging Western control over African resources. The threat that followed made Traoré's blood freeze. "Refuse, and your sister will be very successful in her new career in Amsterdam." 14 years old, very popular age in that market. The line went dead, leaving Traoré alone with his worst nightmare. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of breaking down, instead of giving in to fear, something else awakened in him, a rage so powerful it would reshape an entire continent. "No," he whispered to himself in the darkness. "This time, I'm hunting them." That night, Traoré called an emergency meeting with his most trusted allies. His security chief, his intelligence director, and most importantly, Sarah Kamar, a 28-year-old cyber warfare expert who had trained at MIT before returning to serve her homeland. "They think my family is my weakness," Traoré told his team, his eyes bloodshot but determined. "But they're wrong. By attacking one child, they've attacked all of Africa's children. And that will be their biggest mistake." Sarah's fingers flew across her laptop keyboard. "I've analyzed the phone call," she reported. The voice was routed through 7 different countries, but the actual signal originated from Switzerland. However, the Amsterdam reference is intentional: they want to mislead us. The intelligence chief added even more disturbing news. In the past 2 years, 73 young girls from Burkina Faso have disappeared after obtaining student visas. Average age, 15 years old. Traoré slammed his fist on the table. This isn't just about Aminata anymore. Now here's where Traoré made a move that shocked the world. Instead of conducting secret operations or making deals in the shadows, he did something unprecedented. He went on national television and told his people everything. "My fellow citizens," he said, looking directly into the camera, "my 14-year-old sister Aminata has been missing for 5 days, and now I know who took her." The international press was stunned. World leaders never publicly discussed family kidnappings. But Traoré wasn't done. The people who kidnapped Aminata did this to force me to abandon our economic independence policies. They represent forces that want to control Africa's resources. But let them know this, by attacking my family, they didn't just target one household. They targeted all of Africa's children. And I'm going to make them pay. His enemies expected him to make emotional mistakes, to lash out recklessly. Instead, Traoré did the opposite. By speaking openly, he brought the entire world's attention to the situation. The kidnappers could no longer hide in the shadows. Within hours, the hashtag #SaveAminata was trending worldwide. Support poured in from across Africa and beyond. But Traoré wasn't just looking for sympathy, he was building an army. Meanwhile, Sarah's team worked around the clock, discovering that the Switzerland signal was actually a redirect. The real target was an old building in Amsterdam's red light district. "Sir," Sarah reported, showing satellite images, "this building is part of a complex. The lower floors are connected. Thermal cameras show at least 40 to 50 people inside." "Security?" Traoré asked. "Professional, but we have an advantage. No one expects Burkina Faso to conduct an operation in Amsterdam." That evening, Traoré made calls that would change everything. He reached out to Ghana's president, Mali's leader, Senegal's government. "You have missing children files too, don't you?" he asked each of them. "We're conducting an operation in Amsterdam, not just for Aminata, but for all of Africa's children." None of them refused. This was no longer just Burkina Faso's problem. The Amsterdam operation began on the 6th night, but this wasn't some Hollywood action movie. This was a carefully orchestrated intelligence mission. 18 Special Forces soldiers from 4 different African countries had quietly entered Amsterdam as tourists. Sarah's cyber team disabled the building's security systems. At 3:20 a.m., the operation commenced. Alpha Team, rear entrance secure. Bravo Team, side clear. Charlie Team, main target in sight. Back in Ouagadougou, Traoré listened to every word on a secure line, his heart pounding. Entering target building now. 5 minutes of silence felt like 5 hours. Alpha Team to center, first floor cleared. 12 girls found. Bravo Team to center, 8 more girls in the basement. Charlie Team, Aminata found. She's healthy. Tears streamed down Traoré's face, but the operation wasn't over. The team had uncovered something much bigger than a simple kidnapping ring. When the world woke up that morning, everything had changed. 47 young girls had been rescued from that Amsterdam building. 23 human traffickers were in custody. And the document Sarah's team recovered revealed a network that reached the highest levels of international business and politics. The reunion at the airport was emotional beyond words. Aminata, still shaken but strong, fell into her brother's arms. "I was scared, big brother," she whispered. "But I knew you would come. I will never leave you alone again," Traoré promised. But this wasn't just a personal reunion, the world's media was watching everything. "I didn't just rescue my sister," Traoré announced, holding Aminata's hand before the cameras. "I rescued 47 other families' children. And I showed the world that those who touch Africa's children will be held accountable." The documents they recovered exposed how the entire system worked, which companies provided financing, which banks laundered money, which networks provided protection. The revelation sparked investigations across Europe and resignation debates in multiple governments. But Traoré's real goal was much bigger. At the African Union Summit, he declared, "With this operation, we didn't just rescue our children. We showed the world how Africa is exploited. They steal our children because they want to steal our resources too." From that summit came the African Child Protection Pact, signed by 32 countries. The Aminata Foundation was established to find missing children and prevent human trafficking, with support from 54 African nations. A year later, Traoré addressed the United Nations, "We are building a world where those who touch our children will be held accountable." Today, Aminata is 16 years old. She studies mathematics and dreams of attending MIT, but she's also become something more, a symbol of Africa's resistance and hope. "People call me the rescued girl," she said in a recent interview. "But I'm not just rescued. I'm protected, because my brother made all of Africa my family." The enemies who thought they were targeting Traoré's weakness had actually awakened his greatest strength, an African father's determination to protect his child. And that strength didn't just save one girl, it changed an entire continent. Sometimes the darkest moments give birth to the brightest changes. And sometimes, when you stand up to bullies, you discover you're not standing alone. What would you have done in Traoré's position? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story moved you like it moved me, hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories that prove one person really can change the world.